offline, I don't mind. I'll still be here for a while afterwards. Hey, everybody, I want to say thank you so much for coming here. We are here at Green Witch Vape. Thank you for coming, everybody. You can clap if you like. Thank you. You might ask yourself, Larry, what in the world are you doing in a dispensary? What are you doing in this? Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you why. Whether you are someone who likes to imbibe in any type of substance or not, doesn't matter. What matters is these types of businesses, these types of industries are critical for our state. They are local businesses. They are small businesses supporting local communities. We don't have enough of that in this state, but not even close. Our rules in this state have always been the same. Get some big business from outside the state, bribe them lots of money, have them come to our state, then take the bribes, whatever they want to take the bribes for, and then once they're done taking the bribes, they leave. And they leave the place devastated. And all the bribes they take, someone has to pay for. Who pays for those bribes? We do. We pay for the bribes, they leave with our money, and they act like they've done these great jobs. You hear it all the time. Oh my God, but Micron's gonna come in, but Amazon's gonna come in, but this is gonna come in. But here's the issue. They never, and when I say never, I mean never, they never give us what they promise. It has never happened one time. If they say 1,000 jobs, it's not that. If they say $100,000 per job, it's not that. If they say they're gonna stay for 10 years, it's not that. They never make it, but we give them the bribes for that. But here's the issue. If I have to bribe businesses to come to my state, how bad is my state? They offered Amazon $2 billion to come here. And Amazon said, no. You give me $2 billion, I'll move to the moon. It doesn't matter. $2 billion, you kidding me? And they still wouldn't come. They changed the environment of the state to support localism and local people and small businesses. And it doesn't matter if it's a business you don't like. Then you know what? Don't go to that business. That's my answer. If you like the business, don't go. This, by the way, is a good business, so come to this one. I'm just saying, if you don't like a business, fine, no worries, don't come. We have to support small business. How do we do that? There's several ways we can do that. I'm gonna talk about a couple things that are important for New York State, actual answers for New York State. Number one, if you are a small business in New York State or a small farmer, either one of those two, small business or small farmer, either one of those two, and you decide that you will, oh, there we go, break. Okay, so if you're a small business or a small farmer, doesn't matter, either one of those, and you're in New York State and you agree that you will sell only within New York State, you should be immune from all federal regulatory bodies. What does that mean? Now, if you're a small business, you don't have to have 2-3 layers of lawyers, 2-3 layers of accountants. You have only just one, just the state, and that's all. You do that, I have a chance at actually fighting back. Not just that. There's a lot of businesses right now that would love to hire some people, and some of them actually have an issue. They have felonies. It's a common problem. New York State has a huge felon problem. How do we deal with our felons? Well, what does New York State do? Puts them back in jail. That's what we do, right? And we pay for them. That's not the right answer. Here's what the answer is. I want to support small businesses to support our felons. If you are a felon and you're hired by a small business, that business in New York State should be immune and not have to pay any payroll taxes for 2 years for that felon. Why? Well, Larry, people will take that and they'll just hire a felon for 2 years and then fire that felon and hire a new one to get that tax break. Good, you're training my felon population. Please do that. That'd be amazing. I hope you all, please copy that. That's an amazing to do. Do that and keep training my felons. Why? Why do I want to train felons? Because here's what we also know. If any of you who've dealt with felons, you will know within the first 3 months whether they're serious or not. It's how it works every single time. You will know within the first 3 months. Larry, how do you know? You guys know, for those who follow me, my mom was a felon and went through all of the same stuff. I saw it all happen personally in my own family. Within 3 months, you'll know if they're serious or not. And if they're serious, you have a very loyal employee who will work very hard because they want a second chance at life. And it's the second magic number. Once a felon works for 5 years, 5 years is the magic number. I don't know why, but data has shown this. After 5 years, they're actually less likely to commit a crime than someone who's not a felon. Give people work, give them the opportunity to get back at life, and they can. Why do I mix that with small business? Because small business in New York State is what gives felons second chances. That's what does. The big businesses have rules against it. The big businesses stop it. They don't do that. But small business gives someone a chance. Small business says, no, no, no. I know that guy. I went to school with him. I know that woman. I met her. I remember when we were friends. I remember. I'm going to give her a second chance. Oh, I know his son. Oh, I know her daughter. I'll give them a second chance. That happens. I'm always trying to build community in everything I talk about. What's going to save us in New York State? It's not the government. What's going to save us in New York State? It's community. That is what will save us. The problem is every time you add government, you by default remove community. We've got to start removing government so we can add community. Adding community so we can remove government. These are ways of making that happen. People do need help. People get in trouble. People make mistakes. People get unlucky. All types of things happen. I'm not saying we should help. Of course we should. But we want to do it in a way we're actually helping. What government does well is it keeps you in that bad spot. I was just talking to somebody today, just recently, someone in this room actually, about the DMV. You guys know I've been talking about the DMV since, thank you. Yes, you can boo the DMV if you want. That's a good boo. I've been talking about DMV actually for about 8 years. I was talking about how cruel they were to people once they removed their license, not letting them have it back ever. And how that also affects family court. What I mean by that. You're a dad. You're divorced. You have speeding tickets. Or you're upset, you're depressed, you get a DUI, whatever the case may be. You lose your license, you get 20 points. And the court says, pay your bills for your kid. How are you going to pay your bills with a license in New York State? Unless you live in New York City, then maybe you got a shot, you get a subway or a bus. Oh, good. But if you don't live in New York City, how are you going to pay your bills? Without a car? How are you going to drive to make that money to pay your bills? You can't. What am I begging that person to do?
Break the law.
Correct. I am begging that person to go into the black market and break the law. That's what I'm begging them to do. And they do it. People move to incentives. We should stop that. The DMV is cruel. If you guys have seen this before, you get a speeding ticket now? Anybody got one recently? Anybody recently got a speeding ticket? Anybody? There we go. So they first charge you the fee, then the surcharge comes afterwards. You notice that one now? Yeah, not a surcharge. A surcharge, what's that? That's a way of skirting the law to take your money. And now they're adding more things to DMV. They're adding more points for this and points for that and points for this and points for now, if you have like your light is out, you get points on your license now. It's not a moving violation. How's it a point on your license? Because more money. More money. This is a money grab. Have the roads all of a sudden in New York State become so much worse?
So bad.
So why aren't they fixing potholes with all that money? They're not. So I have another rule what we can do here. How about instead, we have a new rule. If you are in New York State, and at the end of the year, you owe money to the state, whether that's through fines, fees, taxes, whatever, you owe money to the state. You can take $250 of that and give it to any non-government funded nonprofit in the state. You send it to, if you love Kathy Hochul, please send her your money. You love her. I get it. Some people do. I don't know why, but some people do. So send her the money. It's all fine. But if you don't love Kathy Hochul and you'd rather help somebody locally, $250. If it's in your county, $500. Like $500, that's not that much money. What happens when 1,000 people do it? When 10,000 people do it? When 100,000 people do it? You can actually begin to build out community locally, things that you want. I want to have a child care facility. I want to fix the potholes. I want a better facility for my elderly. Whatever. I want to create a community bank so I can have cheap loans. Whatever. You do what you want to do. Do it in your local community and make things that you think you need in your community. And if the person does poorly and they can't do it right and they're bad at it, you know what will happen? You won't give them the money next year and they will fail and be punished. What happens when New York State says, I got the plan. I'm going to get the plan and I'm going to go fix the potholes. I'm going to make a program and I'm going to raise taxes and I'm going to raise fees so we can fix the potholes. And the potholes don't get fixed. What happens? More money next year. Because clearly that's the problem, not enough money. So the punishment for failure for a government program is more money. The punishment for failure at a community is no more money. We pick somebody else. This is what we have to start creating in our state. We can. You might go, Larry, I like those ideas. These are great ideas. Sounds nice. But you've been preaching this stuff for 8 years. What's different this time? Let me tell you what's different this time. Number one issue. This race this year is a winnable race. Yes, I'm not playing. This year, this time is a winnable race. For two reasons. Number one, matching funds. For those of you who don't know, New York State has matching funds. 6-to-1, which means that if I'm able to raise $500,000 from 5,000 New Yorkers averaging $100 per person, New York State will write me a check for $3 million. $3 million, winnable race. How do I know that? Mamdani won in New York City, as many as you know. Some of you may not know why or how, because you may not be New York City people. But one huge reason why he won, there were others, but one huge reason was New York City gave him $12 million. Because New York City has 8-to-1 matching funds. So New York City wrote him a check for $12 million. Here's what I'm promising all of you. I will bet all of you $12 million. If any of you give me $12 million, I'm the next governor of New York. That's what I will guarantee you. If you give me $12 million, and I will bet you $12 million, that I will actually be the governor of New York. So we can make this happen. Matching funds is a critical aspect that did not exist before. We can make this happen now. But it's the second piece, the actual environment. Right now here in New York State, the Republican Party knows it cannot win this election. It's impossible. They know it. Why? Well, Elise Stefanik dropped out. She knew she couldn't win. It's impossible. Out of the electorate in New York State, only 23% are Republicans. You cannot win an election with 23%. 30% are independents or no party affiliate, and 47% are Democrats. You have to be able to cross over. Stefanik couldn't cross over, and the new guy, Blakeman, he can't cross over either. They can't cross over. They're only talking to Republicans, which is great.
Hochul's bad.
Hochul is bad. That's true. That's accurate. But that's not enough. Why? Hochul bad. Can I pay my rent? Can my kid get education? Do you have a chance of success? Are my parents or my grandparents packing up and leaving and going to Florida? Hochul bad doesn't change any of that. Ideas change that. Policies change that. Not Hochul bad. Or if you're a Democrat, Trump bad. Doesn't matter. That doesn't fix the problem. Yelling other guy bad does not give us a solution. We've been yelling other guy bad literally for decades. And the state continues to have a solid decay. We've been yelling other guy bad for decades. Still, the state continues to decay. We have to have changes. So the Republican Party right now is just going, Hochul bad. I will ask you, does any of you know, what is the policy the Republicans have to fix this state? No answer. Every room I go to, I ask that question, and no one has answers because there isn't one. Their answer is, isn't Hochul terrible? That's their answer. How are they going to fix it? They can't. I just gave you 3 ideas at the top of my head. You might go, Larry, I don't like that idea or this idea. Okay, I'm talking ideas. Imagine me on a debate stage. Yeah, thank you. Imagine me on a debate stage. What the debate stage will be, if it's Blakeman versus Hochul, will be, no, you're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're bad. No, you're, that's the debate. I'm on that debate stage. It's how do we fix New York? How do we make that new New York? It will actually change. And that's a big difference. But not just that. I'm now considering running in a Republican primary. Yes, Em. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. The reason why I'm saying that is I understand that with Elise Stefanik dropping out and Blakeman running, Blakeman is just a placeholder, literally a placeholder, just someone to just stand around and say, see, Republicans haven't given up yet.
But this is the year, Larry.
Yeah, they always say that and they're lying. They always say it's the year. And here's the issue. It's not the year. Republicans are not going to win unless they create a coalition. Coalition is the only way of winning. Independent is the only way of winning. And here's the issue to remember. Right now in Utah and Nebraska, it is so red, not so blue, so red that the Democrats don't bother running statewide candidates anymore. I'm not joking. There was no Senate, for the U.S. Senate, not state Senate, U.S. Senate, there was no Democratic candidate in Utah last time. No Democratic candidate for Senate in Nebraska last time. New York State is maybe 2 cycles away from there being no Republican candidate in New York State anymore. Why? No one can run. Who would? Why would they? But Larry, this is our year. Great, then why aren't there 45 Republicans chomping at the bit to run against Hochul? If Hochul's so bad, why aren't there 17 Republicans jumping to do it? I thought this is their year. I thought we're going to win. If that's true, no one should be calling me and asking me to run. I'm some crazy libertarian. They shouldn't be asking me. They should have 45 Republicans standing in line fighting to become the guy or gal who's going to go beat Hochul and become the governor. Where are they? Nowhere. Because they are lying to you. If you are a Republican in this state watching this right now, they are lying to you. They're going to take your money and walk away. If you put your money into a Republican candidate in 2018, time, money, energy, vote, you threw that vote away. You put that money into a candidate in 2022, you threw that vote and money away. If you put that time, money, energy into me in 2018, I'm still here. You put it to me in 2022, I'm still here. the thing to remember is the vote, the time, the money you put into me is an investment. You put to them, it's a feel-good thing. You might as well go to Disney. It's a feel-good thing. You might as well go to Disney. That's what you're getting.
Disney's real, Larry.
Disney is real. That's true. Something. So at least it's something that could happen. So I'm thinking about running here. If I do that, I run against Blakeman. If I win against Blakeman, now I will have the Republican line, the conservative line, the libertarian line, the people line. I will have 4 lines against Kathy Hochul's 2, and it'll be a 2-way race. This is a winnable race. This is a winnable race. Last time I ran, it was really to make a movement, and it worked in 2018. It did. Many of you were with me since 2018. You've seen it. It worked. The law had to come in and crush me in 2022 to crush that movement, and sadly, it worked. It worked. 2026, we turn around it again. If there is not one thing I am tenacious. That's one thing I am is tenacious. This is literally my 8th time across the state. I cross the state even when I'm not running. It's my 3rd time to this place, isn't it? Second time to this place. Second time to this place, yes. So yes, we keep coming back. We keep doing this again and again and again because it does matter. And every time I go to a place, you know, it is a locally owned place. Every single time. I've done over 800 of these across the last 8 years. They're always a local place because I talk about supporting local businesses. I talk about talking the talk. I got to walk the walk too. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So I think we get a whole lot done. I hope you see it's a winnable race. We can have ideas. We can change this state because the number one issue we have to worry about is people leaving the state. If we stop the bleeding, the state can begin to grow again. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions or comments that you might have. Questions, comments, something like that. If you have any right now, I'm going to take them. Go ahead, please.
I know that there's a big discussion recently in New York about energy costs.
Yes.
Do you have any opinion on how to?
100%.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. The question is, there's a bunch of questions or worries about energy costs. Absolutely, it's a critical piece. Here's how we fix energy. I've been talking about this again for 8 years. Nuclear energy, nuclear energy, nuclear energy, nuclear energy. That's the answer. But I want to be clear. There's a specific way to do it for a specific bunch of reasons. Because energy links into water, and energy also links into AI. It links into those. It also, by the way, also links to blockchain mining. It links into all of them. Explain why and how now. There's about a dozen places in New York State now, maybe 13, but it's about a dozen places right now, which you could literally just pop in a nuclear power plant right now. They're old like coal plants or old oil plants. You could pop it in, the infrastructure is still there. We could do that and have nuclear power plants popped up in 2 years. 2 different types of power plants we could use. One, thorium. Thorium nuclear power plants are actually the safest nuclear power plants they have, Gen 4. The Chinese have already built them. They physically cannot melt down. It's the newest form of nuclear power plants. China's already building them. We can put those in. Or modular, where we put several modules in. We can keep building up modules upon them, one at a time. If one fails, we shut one down. The rest keep going. That too. So we can do that also. That could be up and running within 2 years. That's how fast we can be up and running, meaning pumping out energy. But here's the piece with that. Local people get to vote. Do you want that nuclear power plant in your community or not? If you don't, no. Some people are afraid. You don't have to have it if you don't want to. If you're like, yes, I want it, I'm in. Here's the glory of this. If you say yes to it, that municipality, that community will be 50% owner in that nuclear power plant. The people of that community will have ownership, 50%, in the nuclear power plant. Why? Several reasons why. Number one, building out the grid will be a problem. That's one of our other issues. The grid's the other issue. Our grid is not strong right now. So how do we raise enough money to rebuild the grid? Well, data processing centers and blockchain mining. Right now, if you want to put a blockchain mining facility or data processing facility in your community, would you want it? No. There's maybe 12 jobs out of the entire thing. I'm serious, there's hardly any jobs in these things. It's mostly just machines. It's hardly any jobs, right? You wouldn't want it. And they take up all the energy, all the water, and you pay higher energy bills. Why would you want one? I get it. But now I'm changing it. I put a nuclear power plant there, and I surround it with data processing. I surround it with blockchain mining. So I have to rebuild the grid, and they're all buying the energy directly. They're happy to buy the energy. The nuclear power plant itself creates hundreds of jobs, and then 4 support jobs every 1 nuclear power plant job. But as they buy the energy, who gets half the profits? The local people. Now you can't wait to have it in your facility, in your community. Can we have more, please? Can we have more? Because now when that money comes in, half it goes to the private company. The government does not build it. The government does one thing only, lease out the land. That's it. The government gets a check every year to lease the land out. It is built by a private company. They own 50%. The community has 50%, both ownership and voting rights, both. So at the end of the year, if you're selling lots of energy, the community votes. What do you want to do with that money? You got three choices to do with that money. Number one, you say, you know what? I'd like to build out a community bank. I want to have a community bank that's a local bank funded by that nuclear power plant's energy, so I can have dirt cheap loans for businesses and homes. I can get 1%, 0.5% loans. I'm not joking. Why couldn't you? The money's being funded by the bank, by the nuclear power plant. So I now have a community bank. That bank can have insanely cheap loans, only for people who are residents of that town or that community or that county. Again, getting people to stay in the state. Yes. Building out that local community to want to be there. You got to show up and vote. You can't just sit in your house all day and play video games. You got to show up and vote. Where do you want your money to go to? So get your butt out off the couch and see where you want your money to go. Do you want to build out a community bank so you can have cheap business loans and housing loans? Or you might go, no, we don't want that. We want to create our own kind of like sovereign fund for the state so it can pay for things. Pay for the roads or pay for the school, pay whatever. You can decide, your community. Or you can say, you know what we want? We want cheap energy. We want to lower our energy costs by 50%, 75%. You got the cash to do so. Or we don't want that. We want to follow the Alaska model. Alaska has this already. I'm not making this up. Alaska has this already. In Alaska, for the oil they get, energy, they actually give their people a check every year. Alaska has a sovereign fund. So you can decide, you know what? No. If you're a resident, you get a check every year. End of the year, it's your check. Right now, Alaska gets about, I think, $1,000, $1,500 a year, something like that. If you have a nuclear power plant, maybe everyone gets $2,000 a year. Or whatever, you pick. The point is, I'm the governor. I don't decide, you do. But there's a more important piece. AI is not going away. It's not. People don't like it. I know it. People get mad at me. Larry, we got to do this. Not going to happen. And I'm not trying to be mean but it's not. We know. Trump already said, you're not regulating it. Why? AI is a weapon system. It's what it is. It's like nuclear bombs. It's a weapon system. It can be used for all kind of horrible stuff. There's no way we're going to regulate it. It's not going to happen. So how do we control it? The back end, energy. What it needs is energy. So AI companies start doing something bad, we vote to cut the power off. Someone has to be able to pull that plug. And I don't want it to be the top 6 people in the world. Because that's where it is right now. Right now, top 6 wealthiest men in the world can decide whether they pull the plug or not. I'm not okay with that. We have to have some way of back-ending this. And the way I see it is this way. This allows for people who are losing their jobs to AI to have a way of having income. People who are trying to start new businesses to allow for a bank that can actually give them loans to start businesses. This allows local people to still, within their own community, defend themselves against this. This is the future. And I would ask you, if you disagree or think parts of what I'm saying is wrong, what other governor candidate has even told you this? What other governor candidate even has a plan to even consider it? What other governor has any plan to deal with AI, energy, community, localism, losing jobs across the state? No one. I'm the only one. This is why I want you to do this. So thank you very much for your question. I know I went long, but thank you for that.
Larry, we have questions online, and then
go ahead.
We got time for one, and then you got to wrap it up.
Okay, go ahead.
So, from Keith, he says, Larry, what do you plan to do for the nursing shortage and the unsafe nurse-to-patient ratios?
Yes. There are so many problems with our medical system here in New York State. He's absolutely correct. We have doctors leaving, nurses leaving left and right. Nurses are very unhappy. Across the country, be very forward, across the country, but heavily more in New York State. We're trying to bring migrants in to fill that gap. That has been our answer. Our answer in the past has been, just bring more migrants in, right? They don't know any better because they don't know how bad our system is. So bring them in and they'll start filling it. And even the migrant nurses are like, I don't like this. I'm serious. If you guys know nurses, doctors, they're unhappy. Try to find a doctor in America now who tells his or her kid to become a doctor. You're going to be searching. You can't find it. System's broken. He's absolutely correct. Yes. How do we fix that? 2 things. One is simple licensing. For those of you who don't know, if you get a license outside of New York State, it doesn't count. I'm not joking. So you're a nurse in Connecticut? Those crazy Connecticut people, they don't know what a nurse is. You can't be a nurse in New York State. It's insanely stupid. Number one. That's the first step. You can have reciprocity. That's what it's called. Reciprocity across the states. I have a feeling a nurse in Connecticut is good enough in New York State. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe make them take a little quick test or something. I don't know, maybe there's some individual rule. But it's fine, they'll be fine, number one. So don't create barriers to become nurses and doctors. Second piece, we have to start creating community-owned hospitals. The same idea. One of the reasons why the hospital systems fail so much is we've set it up for finance to take over it. Most hospitals and hospital groups are run not by doctors. In fact, Obamacare made it illegal. Some of you may not know that. The ACA made it illegal for doctors to own hospitals. They literally cannot own hospitals. So I know some of you are shocked. That's absolutely true. So what did it do? It encouraged finance people to get involved. So most of these hospitals are owned by financial guys. I'm not against financial guys. Financial guys are important to have, but they shouldn't be owning hospitals. So I'm saying they should not be owning a hospital. Let them own private equity firms. That's fine. That's what they do. Go own a bank, go own a private equity firm. Nice, good. Don't own a hospital. But they own hospitals. And what happens is it creates everything is about the bottom dollar. So now doctors aren't actually running things. Doctors are now part of the problem. Doctors are part of the problem. They're in the way. And here's the second part. The people aren't the customer. The customer is the government or the insurance company. So the customer's in the way. So the customer's in the way, meaning the patient's in the way, and the doctor and nurse are in the way. People respond to incentives. The incentive is to get the customer, which is the patient, and the doctor and nurse, which is the employee, out of the way. And that's why things are failing. Community-owned hospitals is a key. Start that. How do I know this? You're already seeing it happen in New York City. I live in New York City, as you guys know, and right now already it's a two-tiered system. Right, two-tiered system. The wealthy all go to private doctors. The best doctors and the wealthiest doctors don't take insurance. You walk in, you swipe your credit card. You walk in, give them a check. If you have one of those cool, actually very cool healthcare plans, you get some kind of reimbursement in if you can. But that's what happens. So the wealthy go to those doctors. They don't take insurance. Why do you think if you go to a doctor's office right now and take insurance, your appointment's at 2 o'clock, you get seen 3:45? Because they're overbooked, because they have to. You know, it's true, right? That's what happens. They overbook, they have to, because the government only pays them X dollars. They are more concerned about you photocopying your insurance than you. And every single time you leave, it's either a procedure, a prescription, or a test. Every time. Why? They get paid by that. That's how they get paid. Their incentives are for you to be sick. For those of you who know, I copied this idea of the tech industry, right? The tech industry, in the tech industry used to be what's called a break-fix model. When your computer broke down, the tech guy would show up and he would then fix it and charge you per hour. That's gone away. Now, you pay one flat fee per month and a tech guy has to keep your computers working well. It's his incentive to actually make things work well. That's what I want to make happen. So he's correct. Change the system, get the private equity guys out of the hospitals, and get local people to care about themselves so that we now have the actual customer should be the customer, not the government. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you all coming here. I do. I appreciate you guys all watching. Thank you so much. I'll see you all very soon. Thank you.